Okay, cool. Yeah, this one was super interesting. The article you sent me, right?
Yeah.
The tale of a fake heiress at Mar-a-Lago and the FBI investigation. And so this tied in super nicely to the fact that Trump had his residence raided recently by the FBI over this National Archives case, who turned it over to the Justice Department saying, hey, we think that he has documents there that could basically be a national security concern because they're confidential, top secret documents. And the security in this location obviously
Not good.
is not great
It
when
made me
you have
laugh.
stories when you have stories like this popping up,
Dude,
so
you're the president. You basically stole a bunch of super classified documents, and security is so bad. Anybody can just walk in and just like it's a bar. You just show your ID. Yeah, like can you imagine?
Anybody. I just don't have weapons. Hey, I'm a Rothschild. Can I get in, please?
Yeah, dude. We could have went. Like
absurd.
So this lady, she's pretty hot.
Anna de Rothschild.
Yeah, Rothschild. She had been going to Trump's Mar-a-Lago and being at their speeches and their parties and talking a big game, quote unquote, somebody said.
Yeah.
The 33,
rubbing elbows with politicians, like super powerful people.
33 shows up twice here. Okay. 33.
Yeah, but this is a reach, Dylan. This is an age.
Hey, numerology, it goes back. Numbers are geometry, and geometry is the fundamental driving force of all that exists. Because
I get it. But this is also an age. Anyway.
Yeah, but why did all this happen when she was 33? Why not?
I think this happened before she was 33. She is now 33.
Exactly. So they don't talk about it till the age is right, and like we got the numbers. They're waiting. They're sitting on it. It's 5D chess, dude.
I understand. Got it.
Yeah, we're gonna freak out because 33 shows up again later.
Okay? Oh fuck! A call back again. All right.
Call back. She is now subject of a widening FBI investigation that has delved into her past financial activities and the events that led to the former president's home. She was part of a charity that was rife with fraud. The accountant came out to speak about it.
So we're kind of jumping the gun here, right?
Okay, yeah, jumping the gun.
She was her real name, so she went by Anna de Rothschild, which as her fake identity to get into the club. Her real name is Inna Yashchishin. How you say that?
Yashchishin. Yeah, that sounds good.
Inna Yashchishin, she was a Russian-speaking immigrant from Ukraine, and she made several trips into the state, posing as a member of the famous family while making inroads with some of the former president's key supporters. She was able to bypass security with pretty easily, considering that she had a fake identity. They didn't run any type of background check on her at all. They pretty much just checked her for weapons and looked at her ID and like, this is good. You're good to go.
It's like going to a Chris Brown concert or something.
Right. Just a quick pat down.
Yeah.
Pretty ridiculous.
I may or may not have just hit the weed. Okay. I'm screen sharing a picture of her fake ID. Carry on, Jesse. You're doing great.
Is that horror music playing in the background?
Oh, you can hear that?
Oh, you're good.
Should I turn it down?
I guess it's adding to the story actually.
Okay, well let it rip.
So it goes on to say that these issues have become more critical after FBI agents seized boxes of classified and top secret materials 2 weeks ago from Mar-a-Lago after executing a search warrant on Mr. Trump's home. So you got this woman with a fake identity just, hey, can I get in? And meanwhile, you have the president storing boxes of classified information here. Not good. They go, this article is kind of a hit piece about that too. It goes on to say that her entry, multiple trips in and out of club grounds, lays bare the vulnerabilities of a facility that serves as both the former president's residence and a private club, and highlights the security gaps that can take place. So, Goes on to say numerous records have been turned over to the FBI, including copies of 2 fake passports from U.S. and Canada bearing her name, Anna de Rothschild, and a Florida driver's license with the same name. This shows the address of an opulent $13 million mansion where she has never lived. So she's pretty slick.
A lot of that's going on down there in Miami, like my former clients who were wrapped up in all that.
Yeah, no shit. Miami is a crime capital, basically.
That's hilarious, dude.
In 2015, this is where it goes on to say she became president of United Hearts of Mercy charity, but was dropped by payment processors after they detected fraud. She goes on to say that this is all some misunderstanding. She doesn't know anyone named Anna de Rothschild. And if that's all fake, if any of these passports and IDs show up, it was her former partner that set her up with that. And her former partner is, let me find his name. Sorry, I lost my place in the article.
Valerie Tessananke?
No. It's Taryn something.
Tarasenko. I know who you're talking about.
There you go.
I'm trying to find it too.
Anyway, I jumped way too far ahead. Let me just go through the article in order.
Valery, Valeriy Tarasenko, 44, a Florida businessman who was raised in Moscow, said he met Miss Yaschichin in 2014 and allowed her to live in his Miami condo so that she would watch his children when he traveled on business. And they split because he said she was abusing his kids. And she denied it, and shit went south and said he abused her and I'm the real victim.
But he's not the most open up character either, which we'll get into. That probe, and I thought this part was interesting, also highlighting security risks here. This probe came up after activities 3 years after 2 different women from China, one of them toting 2 passports and a thumb drive with malicious software, were arrested in separate instances after they entered the club grounds while Mr. Trump was president. Both were sentenced to less than a year in jail and have since been released, with at least one being deported to China last year. So that's pretty fucking wild. You have like Chinese assets that are fucking coming into the president's home with flash drives with malware on it, and trying to get national secrets.
Like UFO nuclear files just
right, just
spread
chilling
out on the kitchen table.
He's fucking reckless, bro.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, he's reckless. I love it.
Both of the Chinese assets were sentenced to less than a year in jail and have since been released, with at least one being deported to China last year. That's Anna de Rothschild, or Anna Yaschichin, at the dinner table listening to a speech at the president's private golf club, which, side note, one day I want my own private golf club. Even if it's just the 9-hole.
This one looks like a nice one, though.
Bro, can you imagine going out on a course and it's perfect because it's just you and your friends that play? There's not like 1,000 divots everywhere. It's just...
No, I couldn't.
And then you fucking slice your whole way through. Okay, go on.
It goes on to talk about the Secret Service can't really talk about the case. They said they likely didn't run background checks to determine her identity when she visited the former president's home, partly because the level of protection dropped significantly after a president leaves office. In most cases, they're going to do a level of screening, a hand check for weapons, said Jonathan Wackrow, a former agent who served on President Barack Obama's detail. It goes on to say that they don't know much about Mrs. Yaschichin, but she did work for a suburban Miami business that specialized in providing pregnant Russian mothers the option to have their babies in the U.S. to gain citizenship. So that's kind of wild, too. A bitter court dispute erupted between her and a close associate with who she lived, who we were talking about earlier, Valery Tarasenko, who's a Florida businessman who was raised in Moscow and let her stay in that Miami condo you talked about. He talks about her using fake identity as Anna de Rothschild to gain access and build relationships with U.S. politicians, including but not limited to Donald Trump, Lindsey Graham, and Eric Greitens.
this picture right here is gonna put us in the algorithm and get us lots of clicks because people hate Trump and outrage sales.
Oh, leave it up. Leave it up. Leave it up.
People are gonna hate this photo so much. Views are
Good.
going up right now. The ratings are skyrocketing.
Shit, just leave. Trump's a magnet for the attention.
My system's about to crash. I got to take his face off. We'll put it on Lindsey Graham so people tune out.
So there was a former governor of Missouri, Mr. Greetings. He held a fundraiser last year where Mrs. Yashchishan was invited. Yashchishan was an officer in 2 Florida companies, both founded by her former partner that took her to court, Mr. Tarasenko. Both of those companies were devoid of any assets.
Which means they were shell companies? Just
shell companies, okay. Yep. And she claimed that whatever steps she took to gain money were directed by him.
Man, she just places the blame everywhere else.
Yeah, but I mean, so read about the next part with the charity. Every single move I did, I've been told by Valerie to do so. After a few incidents, I realized he's using me for his lifestyle and his needs. Tatiana Verzilina was the former accountant for that charity, United Hearts of Mercy. And she later filed a statement saying it was rife with fraud. Mrs. Yashchishan at one point tried to break from him, Tarasenko, and he repeatedly struck her. And over time, he became more aggressive and more controlling over her. So she goes on to play the victim, saying, "I'm the victim right now. That's all I can tell you." Mr. Tarasenko was detained in Moscow at one point for carrying a baton at a metro station in '98. I don't know why they threw that in there. I mean, it seems like they were arrested for anything in Moscow. But he denied that he physically harmed her. Mr. Tarasenko was the one who obviously founded the charity because he had filed, let's see. Yeah, he founded the charity in 2015. It was supposed to be about helping impoverished children, but was actually used to elicit funds for organized crime.
He founded it in 2010. She became president of it in 2015.
Gotcha.
So after all this shit, she became president of his charity. Is that? Am I understanding that?
Yeah, that's right. You're right.
After the split, not her and Trump and her. Mar-A-Lago was like
later,
a couple months ago. This was
right
after their split, divorce, and legal shit.
This wasn't a divorce. This was just a business partner.
Oh, right. Yeah, some issues. Yeah.
There is a divorce later on, though. The Miami entity was promoted on social media as a vehicle to help impoverished children, but was actually a source of illicit funds for organized crime. And that was from a statement by a certified public accountant for the charity that was provided to the FBI.
Pause. Just imagine real quick, you live in Miami, so it's promoted to you, and it's just another charity ad. Little do you know, that's like organized crime.
Right
in front of your face. And it makes me wonder, like, what else did I see today?
Probably a lot.
You know what I'm saying? Like a billboard with like the Auschwitz Children's Hospital, like with some heart donor program or something. Like, oh, that's wonderful. It's just fucking gangsters jacking kids in need and like families.
Probably more common than we think.
It's crazy, man. All right.
So they poured hundreds of thousands of dollars into the charity's coffers until payment processor Stripe suspected fraud and stopped taking money that was a part of a campaign supposed to be helping families ravaged by the pandemic.
That's crazy. I get paid by Stripe.
So they
when I work with WAG.
Really?
Yeah, I have a Stripe account.
Wow.
It's one of those.
So that's wild. The Post Gazette emailed more than 24 of the donors who had sent in money from Hong Kong, and every email bounced back, which means they were just fake email addresses that used to trick the payment processor.
Oh my god,
that's fucking slick.
At least to make the email account,
right? It was a fake email. They just put something down.
Like if I was doing that, I would have been like, all right, it's gonna take me like 2 hours to make 500 different email accounts. Let me get on that. I'll chug that out today. That way they don't bounce back. Like these people are just cutting corners, man.
They don't give a fuck.
It's crazy.
At the end of the charity drive, the accountant Tatiana Verzilina Says she began getting calls from people who she suspected were from criminal groups that were threatening violence and demanding money. She said, and I quote, "The callers left voice messages from unknown numbers with accents that if I do not return the money, I and my family will be harmed or killed."
I love
She
their
wrote in her
stories. I love their
What
stories. I'm just imagining this being an excuse. Never mind, it's stupid. Dumb joke. An unfinished
So the charity
joke.
unfinished joke.
Yeah, stupid.
The charity was supposed to disclose its revenues. The charity was supposed to disclose its revenues to the public because of the amount that it took in, but it failed to do so. So this chick, Mrs. Verzolina, moved back to Russia, and she declined to talk about the case. It's not clear where those hundreds of thousands of dollars went.
I know where it went. I know where it went. It went to a bunch of spas and resorts in the Bahamas under Anna de Rothschild's shell company. Just joking. The bitches ran off with the money and had a spa day.
Maybe, or they had to return all that money to those criminals so they didn't get murdered. Or that. They interviewed Sergei Golubev, who is a Russian-born U.S. citizen that was married to Miss Yashchishin. And they had wed in 2011 so she could attain U.S. residency and stay in the country. It was just a paper marriage because she needed a permanent green card. He said he lost touch with her after their divorce in 2016.
It was a paper marriage, not permanent.
Right. That's what I said.
I think you said permanent.
I think.
Yeah.
I said it was a paper marriage because she needed a permanent green card.
Okay. Maybe you switched it because it's recorded.
Maybe so. Yeah, we'll run it back.
Yeah, I'll double check.
All right, we'll see. Let's see. So there was a bunch of pictures that popped up with her posing with Trump, Graham, Donald Trump's junior fiance, Kimberly Guilfoyle, and Trump campaign donor Richard Kofod. I don't know how to say that's his name. Kofed.
Dude, you're 53. You're a hot blonde woman, and your last name starts with Gilf.
That's true, except the U got in the way.
I got in the way?
The U did. Guilfoyle, Guil.
Oh, I thought
Foyly.
Yeah, well, if you say it.
Might be saying that wrong. Guilfoyle.
Oh, you know it's Gilf oil. Gilf oil.
Oh, shit. It gets even more erotic.
All right, dude. So she, whose name emerged in the January 6th hearings after it was revealed she received 60 grand for $60,000 for delivering a speech to protesters on the day of the attack. She didn't respond to interview requests.
Damn, they're making money off all this shit.
Yeah. So Anna Yashchishin or fucking de Rothschild, she shows up at a concert, was it? And takes a picture of, it was a dinner at an Italian restaurant. May 2nd, 2021. A group of Trump supporters went out to dinner at an Italian restaurant. She took a picture with Ray J, the rapper.
That was a different event, but yes.
Yeah, but she still comes up to Ray J. But all this gets connected because Ray J, Kodak Black, and another guy come in a second. Okay. I love Trump's story, dude. Like the way he finds out the most important information is not from his security team. Like we'll get to
from
that.
Like the rappers.
Yeah, like, yo, dog, you know something's not right.
You know something, this bitch is lying to you, right?
Oh my God, you couldn't write this, dude. This is amazing.
No, it really is incredible. It's truly incredible.
It's incredible, dude. Fucking, and Trump didn't do anything. He's just there.
Just the chaos surrounding him.
Trump.
So she showed up at the U.S. Open in Flushing Meadows, New York last year, and the Austrian World Summit in 2019, where her picture was taken with the likes of celebrity rapper Ray J and Italian car designer Horatio Pagani. We always thought her grandfather had the money and that he was an oligarch, said developer Paul Barton, who said his family company paid for her to fly at least 3 times on private jets to their resort project in the Bahamas. This bitch was fucking phenomenal at lying.
I would feel so played right now if I was.
She was offered a deal to sell the sprawling residential development for $55 million and receive a commission, but no such sale was made. During their discussion, she talked about her involvement in putting up a high-rise hotel in Monaco, a speed track in Miami, and a condo project in Canada. She talked a good game, he said. So she had all these rich people fooled, man. Just lying about her last name. And then law enforcement agents in Quebec acknowledged that they have an investigation in this chick as well.
I love this part. Later, she took a picture with Trump, and three South Carolina senators. And later, a guest joked with her that he would pass the photos on to her for a hefty price. Like, I guess he took the pictures and or something. He said, "Anna, you're a Rothschild. You can afford $1 million for a picture with you and Trump." Like, so these people they're not just not noticing her; they're falling in.
Well, yeah, the article goes on to talk about the Rothschild mystique.
Yeah, they didn't even question anything.
Mr. Lefebvre, who authored a best-selling book about his years as a Wall Street banker, said several guests at the private club fawned all over her because of the Rothschild mystique. They never probed and instead tiptoed around her with kid gloves. For her part, she went above and beyond just dropping the family names. He said she talked about vineyards and family estates and growing up in Monaco. this is oh man,
yeah, they got played so bad.
Guy got played super bad.
I'd fawn all over her though. I'd fawn all over her face. All right, I had to get that.
So you get to talk about the bust. So Dean Lawrence, a Florida music creative director, said
wait, back up a little bit. This part's so funny to me. Weeks earlier, Mr. I've been saying his name Gratin. Not lying, dude. It wasn't until you said greetings. I was like, fuck, what? Like the voice in my head's been pronouncing it Cajun.
I might be wrong. I know Gratin. Mr. Gratin. Hey, Mr. Gratin. Mr. Gratin, a former Navy SEAL, had announced his bid for the U.S. Senate with Ms. Guilford as his national campaign chair.
Man, that was good.
I can't talk Cajun for too long.
He wrote a book. He was a former Navy SEAL called The Heart and the Fist. The education of a humanitarian, the making of a Navy SEAL. And he wrote on the front of it for Anna, stay strong, like the front page for Anna, stay strong. I think he gave her 4 of them. It says how many he got, but it was something like 4 books. Yeah, 4 books by former Missouri Governor Eric Gratin appear to bear his signature and are signed to Anna. So he went. That's like a musician being like, "Oh, I'm gonna go get 4 of my CDs."
I think it's just 4 different books. It doesn't say they're the same book though.
Right, but either way, 4 different records. I'm gonna give her one of each and sign it.
Yeah, that's pretty.
I'll go give her my book, and I'd like you to have these books. I signed them for you.
That is true. Oh, they're like just fangirling out over this because they're like, she's a Rothschild. She's like royalty of the Illuminati.
If I was him, I'd feel so played. I'd be like, damn, she for sure didn't read those books, man. Fuck, she threw those away. She laughed with her friends, be like, he gave me these stupid fucking books.
She burned them.
Yeah, they set them on fire and drank white wine. And he's like, wow, she's going to email me one day. She must be impressed by my books. She knows how to get in touch with me. She knows where I am. And they're,
Jesus, dude.
So not until March did the Trump entourage say they discovered her real identity.
That's fucking wild.
Dean Lawrence, a Florida music creative director, said he met with Trump insiders at Mar-A-Lago, where he said he surprised them with the news. And there's a picture of him posted up with the West Side logo on his Hummer. This is the fella that brought him the news. Okay, he said,
This is the guy who busted. This is the like top Trump security. Is this guy right here? Nothing wrong with him, but like, I don't know. When I think of security for a former president and gathering intel, this is just not the picture that comes to mind for me.
In Idiocracy, this is the security detail. So Dean Lawrence revealed to guests at Mar-A-Lago in March that Anna de Rothschild was an imposter. It's just crazy, said Mr. Lawrence. Who would have ever thought it would get to this level?
I wish you could have read that in black voice. That would have been better. But
this is crazy, man. Who'd have thought it'd get to this level, man?
Continue.
Who'd have thought it'd pop off like that, cuz?
All right, continue before we get taken off Apple Podcast.
Mr. Lawrence said the evening started with a dinner that included the former president, Ray J, and rapper Kodak Black, who was granted clemency by Mr. Trump on a charge of giving false statements to acquire a gun. Also attending the dinner was Rudy Giuliani and former New York Police Commissioner Bernard Kerik.
Could you just imagine this dinner, though? Like, just imagine the individuals at this dinner sitting around the table together. I mean, it's nothing wrong with it, but just that picture to me is fucking hilarious. Dude. You have Ray J, Kodak Black, and this dude, Dean Lawrence, and then Rudy Giuliani, this fucking 70 or 80-year-old fucking white guy, and Trump, and then Bernard Kerik. I don't even know what that guy looks like. Oh, these two guys.
These two guys, Trump, Kodak Black, and Ray J.
Ray J.
Like, yo, hey, you remember that fine ass chick in the skirt?
Oh man, this story is a movie. This is a fucking movie.
Yeah. So, Mr. Lawrence said he became acquainted with her because he was involved in a music company, Rothschild Media Label, where she was the president to promote singers, including Mr. Tarasenko's teenage daughter.
That's what I said earlier. Like that dude's not above board either. Like he had that fake charity. He was involved with this fake label where his teenage daughter was on it. So he's trying to blow up, get his teenage daughter famous through like these scams. Like this, she really could have been fucking manipulated a bit by him. I think she was playing the victim a bit much, but they're both pretty dirty.
I wish, like,
anyway,
I mean, maybe not, but it just goes to show, like, being connected, what it can get you, and not being connected, what you'll miss out on. Because, like, people work their whole lives and never get connected to any kind of significant label to be promoted. And, like, he's like, hey, can you just put my daughter at the front of the line? And meanwhile, other people have probably sent so many press kits and they're grinding shows. So it's just crazy.
We know.
Yeah. Mr. Lawrence told the Trump insiders she was not the person they thought she was and warned them, I want to clear something up with you. I want you to know that she has nothing to do with the Rothschilds. Don't get involved in any kind of business with her. I wonder if this was part of the clemency deal. Like, I'll grant you clemency, but you need to tell me stuff.
Nah, I mean, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, like there. I mean, the articles.
But this was not. But this guy Lawrence was not granted clemency. That was Kodak Black.
But still, the crew.
Maybe, I guess
like
so.
If you think about, either this is random that they just showed up, like it's a funny movie, or it makes sense that, like, where does this connection come in? Why grant clemency and then they give you information that uncovers a rat? You know, it just seems like one of those situations. Not that it's important, but like, as he divulged the information to Mr. Kofod, who lived in Palm Beach, quote, his eyes were wide open, said Mr. Lawrence. He said to me, that's exactly who I met. She came to my house. So everybody remembered her. She made quite the splash. Miss Wren, who was somebody who like sent out a group chat to warn people, helped organize the Stop the Steal rally.
She was
declined to comment.
A former national advisor for the Trump campaign.
Oh. Interesting picture of the coat of arms of the Rothschild.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that would be such a good tattoo. Just like your own
a Rothschild.
No, like
tattoo.
Your own coat of arms. Like get your own one made.
Yeah.
That's legit, dude. Kind of wraps it up.
Pretty much. They go on to talk about basically the security implications of this, that they didn't run background checks. Which, I mean, I think about it though. Like, you go into this club, like, how long does a background check take? Like, that shit takes a while. So I don't know that they could run background checks on everyone that runs in there.
Yeah.
Because this was like a third party security consultant making these comments. Yeah, that pretty much wraps it up.
Okay, so let me start a new session, and then
I
we'll
love
do
at the
this
very
last
end,
one.
the very last thing it says, Mr. Lawrence said, which is the black guy, said he was perplexed over why he was the one who was telling Trump insiders about a potential breach and not people guarding the former president and his family. What I'm trying to understand is, how did they allow this, said Mr. Lawrence. How could someone keep coming back at that level? This is Mar-a-Lago. It's fucking phenomenal.
That's awesome.